Scott just made the point yesterday.
You'll read to be a lot more secure, not just.
Liberty and traditional morality. Can they survive together under the big tent of the Republican Party? I'm PJTV's Scott Ott, joined now by Kruiser and Michelle Fields, sitting in for Road Warrior Bill Whittle and jury member Stephen Green. This is episode 2 of a 3-parter that I call Slouching Toward Liberty. As we join our story, already in progress, the transgender man exhales a pungent cloud and passes the bong to his transgender wife as they watch their adopted children play in the yard, and as they talk about whether it's time for Grandma to end her misery, really everyone's misery. In the background, the TV announcer says, "Ask your doctor if prescription strength secobarbital sodium is right for your suicide. Side effects may include vomiting and the possibility that you won't actually die right away." It's a strange new world for a Republican Party that proclaims liberty and finds its most active ground troops among the ranks of the Christian church. Now, Michelle Fields, the Republican Party and its candidates are getting a lot of pressure from consultants to become more socially liberal in order to capture more young voters and libertarians. But the largely evangelical Christian base may stay home if asked to jettison their beliefs in exchange for political victory, and the GOP just can't win without them. So how does the party walk this line between liberty and values, both in its campaign rhetoric and its policy prescriptions?
I don't think you should sacrifice your principles if you believe something just because a consultant in D.C. in the Beltway says that, you shouldn't be talking about this, or you should sacrifice these ideas because you want to win over young people. I don't believe in that. I think that you can, it's all about the way that you package your ideas, right? The Democratic Party doesn't have good ideas at all, but they package it really well. They get good people, good spokesmen to go out there and talk about these ideas. And I think that's what the Republican Party needs to do. If you want to get younger voters, you've got to put a good face out there, and you've got to communicate very well with them. That's what it's about. It's not about sacrificing your beliefs and your ideas simply to get votes.
I don't think I've ever heard that better said. Stephen Kruiser, is there a way for the Republican Party to proclaim a bold vision of liberty while still honoring traditional morality when it comes to life, marriage, and temperance? And if so, what does that sound like?
Well, the Republican Party needs to fight tooth and nail so that every part of our lives isn't ceded to federal oversight, which is what's happening right now. And a lot of that happens when you pass these omnibus bills that end up funding various state programs, and then the state gets entwined with the federal government. They get addicted to the money, and in the end, it may be a state program, but it's really being run out of Washington. And our founding fathers would recoil in horror if they saw what the feds were up to right now. And we need to get away from this. We get caught up in this thing where if we say states' rights, they say Reagan racist, and they start running around like that's what they were programmed to say. We need to shoot that down, and we need to fight for the states to continue to be in control of things. That's the problem with Obamacare. That's the problem with almost everything that they pass through. When they say comprehensive legislation, people need to be conditioned to recoil in horror at the phrase, because that always means that the feds are going to come in, they're going to have even more control over your life, they're going to be brutally inefficient about it, and the inefficiency is going to end up costing you more money, more taxation, less freedom. It's a pretty easy case to make once you line it up like that, and if you don't buy into, if you effectively counter the Reagan racism, state rights thing that they do all the time, which was an invalid argument from the beginning, but we've let them get away with it so long, they continue to do it.
I guess I look forward to the day when I'm complaining more about what happens in Austin than what happens in Washington, D.C. I like that thought for some reason. Make sure you watch our members-only episode 3 to learn why the greatest threat to our constitutional republic may not be decaying principles, but distorted process. If you're not a member yet, well, then we shall have to remedy that. Republicans will struggle to proclaim liberty with responsibility so long as they fail to embrace both equally and fail to challenge the assumptions behind existing statutes and conventional wisdom. And by conventional wisdom, of course, I mean leftist orthodoxy. Laws were designed to protect the weak against the strong. Typically, we are the weak, while the government with the big guns and the legal power to kidnap and steal is the major threat to your pursuit of happiness. Republicans should grab the jaws of life and work methodically to extricate ourselves from the wreckage of big government social policy. Getting marriage out from under the heavy hand of government and treating all adults as individuals would be a good first step. Republicans should need no other slogan than life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. For Stephen Kruiser, Michelle Fields, and the entire trifecta crew at PJ TV, I'm Scott Ott.